What's going on, guys? I'm Icy Rhythms. Welcome back. Today we're taking a look at The Last of Us 2 Remastered for PC. I feel like someone who's played The Last of Us 2 across the PS4 Pro, the PlayStation 5, and the PS5 Pro. Yeah, I got my Platinum twice. It should go without saying that that person likely has a really good grasp on what to look for in a Last of Us 2 Remastered on this platform. When they finally announced it for PC, I was quite surprised because I was starting to think, I don't know if this is going to happen. We got The Last of Us 1 remake very quickly after the PS5 release, and I was like, are they just not going to do The Last of Us 2 since like the community is divided on it anyway, or what's going on here? But here we are in April 2025, and The Last of Us 2 finally has its own release on PC. Well, I should start by saying that my experience with the first game on PC isn't the same as everyone else. Like some of you, I'm sure I didn't hear the greatest things about The Last of Us 1 remake on its initial release for PC, so I stuck to my PlayStation 5 version, at least until that game was in a much more playable state. I am more than happy to tell you guys now that The Last of Us 2 Remastered on PC might as well be Doom Eternal levels of care and optimization by comparison. It's solid, but it's not amazing. First things first, I wanted to get a few negatives out of the way before I spoke on some of the more obvious positives. I'm not having the exact same frame pacing and stuttering issues as, say, Alex from Digital Foundry with his analysis. However, I will say that frame times, frame pacing, it's not great, but my performance nitpick is a little more simple. So one of my examples is if you unlock the frame rate and you can reach numbers well above, 120, 140 FPS, you may experience crashing in this game. This happened to me twice, but looking at some of the Steam discussions by themselves, I know that I'm not alone. If you choose to lock the frame rate to enjoy better frame times, and this has got to be a first in my entire PC gaming experience, then the game loads up a lot more slowly from the main menu, and I'll show you that now. So here's with a locked frame rate. And this is without a locked frame rate. I don't believe I ever locked the frame rate on The Last of Us 1 or Uncharted 4, so I'm not sure if it's limited to this game or if it's an issue with Naughty Dog's engine. Another really annoying issue that I'm having is that the game doesn't seem to like being recorded with OBS. Any of the footage you're looking at where my specs and performance numbers can be seen is all being recorded in OBS, except for the comparisons I just did with the main menu loading screens. The slowdown and frame time issues seem to increase in a big way when I'm recording with that application. It doesn't happen when I'm using the instant replay feature in the NVIDIA app, and I have a lot fewer performance problems in general. I admit that every PC is different and it can be crazy sometimes with all of the different configurations, so this problem may be limited to just me. I can't think of one game that I've ever played before that really fought me like this when recording with OBS, so I'm not sure what the issue is. VRAM's fine. I don't know. But the moment I hit my hotkey to begin recording in OBS, I can feel the slowdown and the input lag increases. The last issue I found to be more strange than anything else, and it happened during a combat encounter inside of a building. I don't know if I turned the camera a certain way that the game didn't like, but the enemy was coming down the hallway and the environment behind him seemed to disappear. I think I still have the footage for that so I can show it to you guys here, but that moment was a one-off and it hasn't happened again, at least not to me. It's just a small handful of things that won't keep me from playing, but are still a little frustrating. You can't have superior load times, way better load times if you lock the frame rate, which is insane. And then if you switch it to a lock frame rate, the load times with that feel almost like PS4 Pro levels of slow. But make no mistake, you get a lot higher performance and a smoother gameplay experience that makes 60 feel slow by comparison when you do unlock that frame rate. The OBS issues could be something that I'm just not seeing. The environment flickering behind enemies, those things are rare instances. Who knows if those things will ever be looked into? And this is what is basically on a brand new PC, guys. I mean, I'm not lying. I just put this baby together at the end of February, if I'm not mistaken. AMD 9800X3D brought my 4070 Super over from my 10700K build. Brand new Western Digital black NVMe's 2 terabyte. Two of them are 4 terabyte, 64 gigs of RAM. I mean, yeah, she's pretty awesome, guys. She's not old, and she loves well-optimized games. So what's to love about The Last of Us 2 Remastered on PC? Well, if you're lucky enough to not experience those crashes when you're playing at the much higher frame rates, then it's really awesome. I'm telling you, the more time I spend playing games over like 100 FPS, 150 FPS, 200 FPS on my 240 Hz OLED, 60 FPS, it feels a little bit slow. I go back and look at some of my footage that I've recorded for this game or some of my other games that are locked at 60, and I'm like, man, what's wrong with this footage? It seems a little bit slow. It's not, but when you're playing beyond 60 for extended periods of time, 60's like, I don't want to say it quite looks like 30, but it does look a little slow. The most noticeable change between this version and what you can already experience on PS5 and PS5 Pro is the image quality. The quality of the image that you're getting in this version of the game is, like I said before, take it from someone that's had a lot of experience with those versions of the game. I would say the difference is huge. It's a massive leap. A lot of times these PC versions, they'll give you better textures, just overall better frame rates and lighting, ray tracing, things like that. But the image quality doesn't often improve over the console versions of the game. Every single detail that I love seeing in the console version of The Last of Us 2 has been improved in the best way, and it's what I wanted most out of this release. I knew exactly what I was looking for based on my experience with that console version. And if this didn't offer the image quality improvements that it does, I'm not sure I would feel it's worth it over the PS5 version if you already own that. It does look better, and it does offer a healthy amount of options to tweak to your liking to get it to look a lot better than the PS5. And if you know what you're looking for, the biggest one is that image quality. If I couldn't change DLSS to the Transformer model, I would have told myself I just need to wait for this release. So that brings me to those of you who watch this video. In conclusion, is this game worth it at $50? Depends on what you're looking for and if you have any actual interest in this game. Do you already have the game on PS5 or PS5 Pro? Are you satisfied with the image quality in those versions? A couple of the performance problems that are just a little frustrating for me shouldn't exist at the time of making this video, so I'm going to tell you to wait. That's my overall opinion on what we have here with this version of the game. It is solid, it's just not amazing. If it was $30 and you really love The Last of Us games on PlayStation, I'd say go ahead and pull that trigger. But at $50, that might be tough to swallow for what's being currently offered here. I'd wait for some patches. But for me, I wanted to get this video out there and share it with you guys and let you know what I think, because I have spent a ton of time with this game on console. The performance that you get, the much better image quality improvements, those things outweigh the small number of negatives in my experience. The Last of Us 2 on PC is a solid effort, and it is better than some of the more recent games that I've seen. But it could have been and should have been better for 50 bones, let's be honest. I'm going to leave you guys with a little more footage to check out, and you guys can maybe get a better idea of what I'm talking about. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good one. Peace.
I don't know. I give it a 6.
A 6?
Wow. like a solid 6.
Okay.